It's going to be a big week for Apple next week. Big product introductions on Monday, but also it's got its first court date. This whole war with the FBI, Apple is digging in its heels. Michal, what can we expect?
We can expect a circus, a media circus for one. I mean, the court's actually giving out tickets to the hearing. So there are going to be people lined up. And it's funny that Apple has its product launch event, the day before. And so I think this will just generate even more hype and even more anticipation for the hearing. But if you look at Silicon Valley and if you look at really a lot of just the tech industry at large, there is massive, massive support for Apple.
Right, but yet on the consumer side, I mean, and on the government side, it really seems to be coming down, really divided. But Aaron, is next week going to move the needle one way or another?
It's hard to say. I mean, because even if it does, then whoever's on the wrong side of the needle is going to appeal, and there'll be another hearing, I would imagine.
Right, it's going to drag on.
So it's going to drag on for a very long time. We did the Facebook Live before we came in here, and it was interesting that all the questions were about Monday's event, about the launch, and is it going to be a new phone, are there going to be new products, et cetera. But as Michal was saying, the real hot ticket is Tuesday's court hearing.
And not just the hot ticket, but this is something that, yes, Apple was going to launch some iterative, new products, right? But the significance and the impact of what happens with this trial, which is being called the tech trial of the decade, or even of the century, that's got real impact. A new wristband or like a smaller iPhone.
Right, it puts that stuff, it sort of dwarfs the other stuff. But the other thing here, I mean, the New York Times raised this point today. What if Apple's engineers, if they're ruled that they have to cooperate, what if they just refuse? I mean, this goes against every fiber of their being, and they're very doctrinarian about it. So, some say it's like asking a doctor to give a lethal injection, to actually concede and do something that you are totally against doing.
Right. Well, this is part of Apple's complaint about what the FBI and the government is doing, that they don't really understand the technology and they don't understand how people who build the technology really think and feel about this stuff. Can you force an engineer to build code?
Right.
I don't know that you can. So maybe.
I guess you can find an engineer who is willing to build it.
You could probably find someone willing, or someone who's willing to build you, an AI engineer to do it for you. But
or maybe pay them enough money.
Tim Cook, he's on the cover of Time magazine this week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's going to stay. And would he step down as CEO if Apple is forced to do this?
It's an amazing question.
So much of his credibility on the line, and the company's credibility, that we're not going to do this.
Right.
This is a cancer.
Yeah.
He called it a cancer.
Yeah.
It is like a doctor. He's not going to give his company cancer.